Okay, so this is part one of the trial prac test. Before I go through each section, I personally would read what I've got to do in each section and take the time to make sure I know what's going to happen. So we've got to open a file, create a new layer called outline and do some bezier curves. We've got to pick the brown that's in the sketch layer, create a new layer called body, make the body, put the brown in there and do the same thing with the head, then export it as an appropriate file. Okay, so they're the things we've got to do. So first and foremost, I'm going to open the file called dog. Open the file called dog. Wow, it's amazing, it's open already. Next, I have to, on the layer outline, create the bezier curves to complete the main body. Okay, so I've got a sketch layer and I've got an outline layer. It's hard to tell the difference between the two right at the moment. Let's just see what's on the... I've got to do the whole body. That's exciting. My sketch layer is at about 50% opacity, which is good because it means it's grey. I need to grab my paths tool and start making paths. It might be good to zoom. How many steps you do each of these in is up to you. Okay, and remember the sketch layer is exactly that, just a sketch. But you should be able to manipulate the bezier curves so that it matches pretty well. Okay, and remembering that when we stroke the path, according to this, it needs to be black, 4 pixels wide and no anti-aliasing. Remember why we don't do the anti-aliasing, it's because so we don't leave grey pixels on the edge of my line. 4, well, that's not helpful, is it? It's here. Am I going to be using black? Yes, that's my foreground colour there. And I go stroke. What did I do wrong? I'm on the sketch layer. I'm not on the outline layer. And so, stroke my path, make sure everything's right, and go stroke. And I've created that part of the line. Remembering that to get a new bezier curve, just click on the move tool and click again. And depending on how brave you are, you might want to do everything in 1 or 2 steps. Okay, I'm going to be probably doing this bezier curve, this outline in 3 steps. Alright. Ooh. Which one have I got there? Probably the wrong one. No, it's the right one. Just adjusting these handles here. They're actually talking about tangents to the curve, if you want to get all mathematical on me. That detailing there is a bit hard to see, so we can slide in even further, which is lucky I did because it looks rotten. That's probably going to be a bit better. I might swing that tangent down there a little bit. try and match these things up nicely. Might actually move that point, flatten that one out a bit. Okay. And then I'm going to stroke the path, and again I'm going to make sure that everything's right. I'm in the right layer this time because I haven't moved. Again, move, and if you want to do it piece by piece, you can. Just remember to draw the line, move the line a little bit. Okay, and then you can do that, stroke that. If you're not brave and don't want to do it in one go, do that and go there. Let's grab that bit and put it like that. You can still adjust the path. Click the move tool, go back here. This bit, while not difficult, will take just a little bit of time, won't it? And it's probably good just to make sure that you've got it all covered off. So, is that all I need to do? It says to, on the outline layer, create bezier curves, doing that with no anti-aliasing. Good, I've done that. Now, I'm going to select the brown from the color sample in the dog's body of the sketch layer using the color picker tool. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, make sure I'm in the sketch layer, grab the color picker tool, which is the eyedropper, grab that brown. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is select the dog's body on the outline layer using the fuzzy select tool. So here's my fuzzy select tool, go back to the outline layer, turn off anti-aliasing and select the dog's body. Next thing to do is to create a new layer called body and use that to fill the selection on the new layer. So let's make a new layer just by clicking on the little icon there, call it body, make sure it's filled with transparency, and then I just need to drag that color into that selection and it's filled beautifully. So I'm just dragging the color into the selection. In fact, I'll do that again in a second, I reckon, because it says to repeat this to the color in the head on a new layer called head using the color sample area in the sketch layer. Okay, so we go back to my sketch layer, I'll get my color picker tool and grab the color in the head. Alright, if I'm in the outline layer and I click there, I'm just going to get rubbish, I'm getting black. So what I need to do is make sure I'm in the sketch layer and get that color, create a new layer, call it head, filled with transparency. I'm going to make sure I'm in the sketch layer, select the head, go back to my head layer and transfer it in there like that. Oh, what have I done? Oh, undo that. Couple of steps, select none, and I was in the sketch layer to select the head, and so the selection was incorrect. You need to make sure you're in the right layer to do the right things. So they're traps that you can fall into, not selecting the right areas. Okay, I did that on purpose. Save the gimp.xcf file. Okay, so on file, save as, and I'm going to save it in my trial practice folder I've created and save it. Then it says to export it as a form of bitmap file using the best file type for the image. So we've got a choice of JPEG, GIF and PNG. In this, how are we going to choose? Well, for a start, I don't want my sketch layer on there and I don't want any selection made. For a start, I am going to export that, file export as, and I am going to choose JPEG because there's no transparency in this image. We weren't asked to do anything there. Change my file extension and export that. Leave my quality up around 90 and hit export. Before I close that off, I am just going to be really pedantic and check that it ended up in there. There's my GIMP file and here's my JPEG file. Okay. The last thing it says to do is close that image before the next part of the test. So I'm just going to go File, Close View, hit my save, and that's the first part done, part 1.